All right, so we have a new volunteer helping us out. Hey, Jess.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. So the copper carbonate and carbon has now cooled in the crucible, and we are going to transfer that to the beaker that is half filled with water. So actually you're going to grab the crucible with the tongs by the lip and pour it into the water. She's going to make sure that she gets all of the carbon and copper out of the crucible using the spatula if necessary to scrape out any remaining contents. Oh, great. Good thing she's doing that because you can see lots more falling down and settling to the bottom.
I'm going to get a different grip
All right.
so I can see a little better.
Excellent. We also do have a wash bottle if you feel like that would be helpful here. Oh wow, look at all that.
Can I give the crucible a little rinse with the
Sure.
wash bottle?
Jess is a chemist, so that's pretty exciting to have a real chemist helping us out here in the classroom.
So I'm just using the wash bottle to wash down the edges of the crucible. Give it a little swirl, and you can see now that the crucible looks pretty empty.
Yes, it does.
So
It looks much cleaner.
One more little rinse. There we go.
Excellent. So now we're going to be doing something called decanting. And Jess, if you would swirl the contents of that beaker, I'm going to try to get down here. And the stuff that you see on the bottom is the copper. But the carbon, when you swirl it, will remain in the solution in the water. So we can, before the carbon settles out, we're going to pour off the excess water into the second beaker. So Jess knows what she's doing here. She's not going to pour out the copper that's on the bottom, but she's going to swirl, get the carbon in the water, so it looks nice and black right now.
So there's some big flecks of the charcoal from the cap, and so what I'm trying to do is to get that out without getting the copper, which you can see is a little bit more red, without pouring that out as well. Alright.
So you can definitely rinse and repeat this until you're satisfied that you've removed as much carbon as possible.
I'm a big fan of rinsing down the sides of everything, so you don't have anything left that's sticking someplace you don't want it.
Definitely.
I'm going to swirl again. Okay, I'm going to do one more little rinse.
Excellent.
So Noelle, are we worried that this looks at all kind of orangish, or is that the way it's supposed to look?
Well, this lab is going to be a scientific investigation, so they're going to need to think about possible sources of error. So they might want to consider that, but I'm not going to give them more tips on it right now.
Alright. Alright, so I can still see some black chunks kind of floating out here, but now it looks pretty red all around, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of carbon still in there.
All right, so now we are going to set up our funnel with the Erlenmeyer flask and the filter paper. So they haven't seen the way to fold the filter paper, so I was hoping you could model that technique for us. So
Sure.
I've already written our group name on here, and that was from before working with Julie. And could you show how it is folded in quarters right now? So fold it in half again, and that's how I knew which side to write my group name on. Now there's a great way of opening this. I just learned this, and if you open it the right way, you can make sure that you don't lose any material. So what Jess is going to do is she's going to separate it so with her index finger, with one slide of paper on one side and then 3 pieces of paper on the other side.
So there are the 3 right here, and the one there. I'm going to slide my finger in there.
Then you have a nice little funnel that fits directly into our small funnel. Now to make sure that it fits in there nicely, she's going to take that water and kind of rinse it down until it's fitting in there nicely how we want it. Great. So now we are going to transfer everything from the beaker into that funnel. And how you do that is up to you. You have that water and you also have the spatula. It might be a little bit of both techniques, but I have to say the main thing is you don't really want error as much as possible here. So make sure you try to get as much copper out of there as possible.
So we used a suspension to get rid of the charcoal. So what I'm going to try and do is shake even more vigorously to get that copper to go into the water, so I can pour it pretty quickly in and hopefully get most of it to transfer. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see too. Wow, that was so much better than I've done any time.
So you can see now I still have some residue in there, so I'm going to do it again.
Wow, that was so effective. You guys are lucky that Jess is showing you this.
So I'm going to do the exact same thing again, and then I'm probably going to finish up with the spatula to get the dregs.
Excellent.
So I'm going to let this drain a little first, because the funnel's pretty full, and I don't want things to go up and over the filter paper.
Definitely not. I know that was a struggle for me because I'm not that experienced with this, so be careful that you don't pour too much water in there, because is it draining very quickly right now?
No, it's pretty slow.
Yeah.
I'd say it's about a drop a second.
Yeah, so definitely want to keep your eye on it when you're pouring, just to make sure that it doesn't overflow. I'm going to pause the video there, and we'll return to you after it's been fully drained.